All right. It's the beginning of another week. Happy new month, our viewers. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown, and welcome to the show. And as usual, I have the ladies. Hello.
Excellent.
It's Monday. I love the hair. How you doing? It's golden. It's beautiful.
I'm living my life like it's golden.
I can see that. How was your weekend?
My weekend was fine. I was mostly home. You know what? School is resuming in a few
days.
Next week, yes, in a few days. So we're just trying to put everything together. So I did something I felt bad about. What do you guys think? I punished my son. He had his cousins come over, and he was really mean to them, fighting them, and he poured water on his bed because he didn't want anybody to sleep on his bed.
Oh, God. When did that start?
Help me. So I punished him. There's his auntie that comes every Sunday and she takes them to Ikoyi Club. Right. So I stopped him from going. Aww. He cried himself to sleep. Aww. I thought that, do you think it was a bit
commensurate?
Too much? Yes, because I felt that anything else I would have done would not have sent him.
I think that
was good, right?
It was
because I felt a bit guilty. Yeah, he cried and cried, and
I think he's learned his lesson.
I think he has learned that lesson.
He's always been
life.
a very calm, good boy. So I don't know what happened.
Which is why I'm wondering why you reacted the way you did.
Oh, okay.
Anyways,
because it's a very
no, but it was too extreme.
Yeah. No, he wants certain. Maybe he feels that he's not been heard as often as
that's
you
what he
would
said.
want. So
anyways, let me come to that. How was your own weekend?
My weekend was good. We had this women program in church, and I preached. You know, I've been dodging that kind of thing, and this time around they caught me.
You preached.
No. Yes,
you preached.
They said no. You have to do it. Okay. And I had an argument with my husband the day before. He was like, so if I get into ministry now, you saying you will not support me? I said, me, I don't want to. When they called you, they did not call me. Don't drag me into the call. I said, but you are my wife. You have to support me. So if they call me, that means they've called both of us. We had serious arguments. And then on Sunday, when I was preaching, he was doing like this.
Hope you not go left while preaching. No. You stayed on course. Don't go and lead our ship.
No. Excuse me. I'm a good person.
How are you doing, Nima?
I wanted to ask an opinion just like Miriam. So I know someone who is not qualified to practice, and the person administered drugs on, and in fact injected someone. I know for a fact that this person is just learning on the side. She didn't learn. And I felt the need to tell the person the truth that you're patronizing a quack. And then when I left, I said, you know me, I would have said my own. So it's your decision whether you want to continue, take the risk. And when I went on, I was like, did I do something? Did I just... But I know.
Business.
But I know. Should I leave the person? I think I did the right thing. So I had that battle all through yesterday till this one. I was like, Nima, this has never bothered you. Why now?
It shouldn't be bothered when you do the right thing.
Yeah, I think
there's no two way.
I also think, do you know the quack? Do you have a relationship with the quack?
I know the person very well.
You can talk to the quack as
person
well.
know if they tell the person that I know, I said you would not, there will be no
You can also talk to her to get the proper qualifications.
No, she's beyond talking to those people that
is making
just...
money off being a quack.
Yes.
Better tell people to be safe.
Anyways, I have a message for you. There's this uncle that was talking to me yesterday. I went to his house for a party. And he said, like, you women are always talking about your husband. Is he, we all know you're married, so please don't mention your husband. He's not professional. And I go, wow.
I think sometimes we overdo it.
You overdo it, you agree with him?
Is that why we don't get flowers?
So please, drop your husband talk. I have passed your information to them. Anyway, our news mission today. Nigerians have been directed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, to deposit bad Naira notes in banks before today. I think today is the deadline, actually. So if you have really those worn-out ones, there's the one that they always give at the toll gate. Yeah. Oh, my God, those 100 Naira notes are dead.
You know, when I read this article, all I was thinking is finally toll gate people can change all their money.
Yes, now.
Because I never want to touch that money.
Ah, it's horrible.
But I think the time is short.
Well, just go to the bank.
All those market women have gathered all their money.
To the bank today and just go and dump it. Yeah. What I was doing yesterday, I got some money. I started sorting out all the dirty money. Just a few of them. I'm taking this to the bank today.
I'm thinking that we hardly ever have cash on us these days.
That's true. I actually hardly carry cash. It's Monday. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll look at the top stories in the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to start with The Nation. P&ID rejected federal government's $250 million settlement offer. Africa imports $50 billion worth of food annually. Wadume, police arrest more suspects. Buratai visits troops after bloody battle with Boko Haram. Inspector General Adamu relocates to Southwest. And why 123 Jigawa men were arrested. Right, let's start with, I know PI and ID is all over the papers. Let's start with the Jigawa story.
Okay, so last week, a truckload full of northerners and their bikes were intercepted at Agege. And the Lagos State government felt it was suspicious, so they flanked them down, the police searched them, and they've been profiled and found that they actually are based here in Lagos. They went for their Eid festival up north. Oh. And because it's not that they're not allowed to travel with their bikes on the express in Lagos. So they loaded their bikes and traveled with them and loaded them and traveled back.
What happened was, what made it suspicious? The fact that they came late at night.
Yes, they arrived late at night.
But what got to me, there was another article, I think it was in Punch, that was saying that a northern group was now saying that the Southerners are not are now arresting their people, which they're now making it an ethnic thing.
In reaction to what happened last week, I knew this was going to cause
problems. But why do Nigerians always take the ethnic side? Right? In every little thing, they suddenly make it an ethnic thing.
When they were intercepted last week, they said Northerners, were in flux, moving up, migrating to Lagos, and in a suspicious manner. Of course, it will spark off reactions. But now that they've been profiled, it's also important. That's why I took the story. That you now established that they've been profiled and there's no criminal intention attached to there are people who live
moving
here.
On to Wadume?
Yes. So during the weekend, the IRT, that's the Intelligence Response Team, arrested 11 more suspects in connection with the Wadume case. They said they are already helping them to give show evidence of the, I think Wadume had about 3 syndicates of kidnapping that's been happening in that area. So they are giving useful information to aid the police. Now there was a team that was set up, more like a panel to investigate. The chief of staff is saying that he hasn't gotten the report from that panel. So hopefully we'll see how it goes.
Moving on now to Nigerian Tribune. Nigeria spent 11 trillion naira on debt financing in 10 years, says investigation. 2 months partial closure of Lagos Ibadan starts today. Supreme Court to hear perjury suit against Buhari today. Lagos acquires 84 hectares of farming in Osun. 6,724 Nigerians Serap soon Senate over the 5.5 billion naira SUV purchase. And 100 million naira concession agreement. Malami moves to avert another debacle. Okay, the major headline, I know there was, actually Tribune was did an investigation concerning how much debt we have. So according to the reports, in the last 10 years, Nigeria has spent 11 trillion and about 4.4 trillion allocated for education, 2.7 trillion allocated for health. And what they're saying is that these are really small amounts for the health and education sector, and more should have been invested. And unfortunately, even with the one that was invested, we still do not see anything tangible in these both sectors.
And in 10 years, we spent about 18.5
just servicing debt
of our entire budget to service debt.
Yeah. Okay, there was another story you wanted to take on Lagos?
Lagos State just acquired 84 hectares of land in Osun State. And they are saying that this will help to curb the food shortage, and hopefully they'll be able to export to other states who don't have enough food. So this is, I believe, is in line with what the federal government is doing for them to tap into agriculture. It's a good one for Lagos State. Okay,
moving on to Daily Sun. Shootout with terrorists. 3 soldiers killed, 8 others injured. 5 die as Uru Festival turns bloody in Lagos. Southeast governors, Ohanese lawmakers team up against insecurity. Muiz Banire, Suleiman, others become the Sun columnist. And 9.6 billion naira gas debt. Nigeria-UK diplomatic row imminent.
Okay, major headline?
Yes.
Yeah, so 3 soldiers on the 30th of August, that was Friday, were involved in a shootout with terrorists in Monguno in Borno State. So the army is happy about the outcome of it. It says many of the terrorists were gunned down. Some of them escaped, though, but many of them were gunned down. And sadly, we lost 3 soldiers. 8 of them are injured and in hospital. These are the ground soldiers. Then the then Air Force as well too said they were able to intercept some of them as well and destroyed some of their hideouts. So good news for war against terrorism.
What story on Oro Festival?
Yes, I do. So this annual festival, which is usually carried out in Lagos State, Ikorodu, had this. Is it Ikorodu?
It's always Ikorodu. No, okay. It's always in Ikorodu. We know the area that they do Oro.
Yes.
It's Ikorodu.
Do Oro in every.
Yeah, I've only heard in Ikorodu. Please go ahead with your report.
So they said that the cultists Eye and Eye used that opportunity to have a clash within themselves and lost about 5 people. They were fighting themselves with cutlasses, machetes, and all of that. And this is more like discouraging people from that festival. Because if for every...
itself is not even a festival for everybody.
It's only for regular people.
Cleansing.
Like, it's supposed to be in the house. Mostly women stay indoors. So it's a really...
It's that kind of festival. People should
stay
away.
indoors,
Community.
Okay, 9.6 billion naira. When do you want to talk about that?
Okay, this 9.6 billion naira, our EFCC...
Dollar, actually.
Dollar judgment settlement. Our EFCC has started to investigate it, and they've investigated the company addresses for somewhere in Maitama and somewhere in Lagos, and found out that the address, head office and branch office address for the P&ID companies are non-existent, and that 2 of the directors that they've been profiling, one Adamu Usman and Jadesola Awoyinfa, are on the run. Yeah. In fact, Adamu Usman was called and he was invited for questioning. He called back and, kept postponing and eventually put off his phone, and he's not been reachable because he doesn't want them to use his phone to track him. And Jadesola Awoyinfa, that one is already on the run. They also investigated and found out that the director who signed on behalf of Nigeria in the Ministry of Justice at the time, 6 months to her retirement, she signed in a suspicious way, because our authorities, she had senior officials ahead of her, but she signed on behalf of Nigeria in a, so they're investigating the suspicion around this.
And P&ID is saying, stop the sham investigations. Just let us hire a negotiator and let us negotiate
and
the
then
numbers.
They offered the P&ID that they can only pay $250 million. And they're insisting on a $2 billion minimum final settlement. So
I think we should get serious with this.
But it's important that we also investigate. I think reading that story now has opened my eyes to the possibilities of what people could do.
Which is what Alhaji Mohammed was saying. Listen, that this is very suspicious. So we shouldn't just assume that the country did not do its own part in ensuring that.
Still pointing out the assets they want to confiscate in the UK. So we have to hurry up if we are going to renegotiate.
We've stored that to stay. Yes. We've stored that to
Okay, Daily Trust. Disquiet over PEF's 17 billion naira petrol tracking technology. Flood destroys properties, displaces residents in Oshogbo, and federal government to commission 40 megawatts Kashimbila hydro plant soon. Right, let's talk about this major headline. You have that?
The major headline. So Daily Trust has from its investigations has found out that the federal government has provided 17 billion to Petroleum Equalization Fund Management Board for the installation of a new technology that would track petroleum products from when they get into Nigeria until they get to the final consumers, like fuel stations. This is to stop smuggling and diversions. But the problem here is that just in 2017, another technology called Aquila, which was supposed to do the exact same thing we're paying 17 billion for. We paid 3 billion for at that time, and that one failed. Products are still being smuggled, diversions are still being recorded, So everybody's wondering what this is about. Some of the IT experts have said in 2015, they went to Korea, they saw where this thing was done, and it should not cost more than a few thousand naira for these things to be installed on the truck. So where is this 17 billion already given for this?
Okay, moving on to Vanguard. Northern leaders to Southeast governors, you have no powers to ban movement of herders. Enough of political comments on education. Act now, ASU tells Buhari. 30,000 naira minimum wage, FG Labour in Make or Mar meeting Wednesday. Let's see. Interpol, EFCC seeks Interpol's assistance to track local and foreign collaborators. And Lagos-Ibadan Expressway partial closure, no cause for alarm. Right, minimum wage?
Yes, so the minimum wage meeting is still ongoing, and they'll be having a meeting with stakeholders on Wednesday, that's on the 4th. And they are saying that if they are not sure that the federal government is coming in with a new proposal, because they have been saying that they are sticking to what they have proposed already. And if this happens, that means the civil servants already are impatient, and they are saying that something else is going to happen if they cannot move their base from what they have said they want to do. So hopefully by Wednesday we'll get more details on that.
Okay. The final paper this morning is The Guardian. How Nigeria lost $9.6 billion gas contract award, a suit in UK. FG loses 395.4 billion naira power revenue, records 3.6 trillion naira fiscal deficit. And Nigeria sues Senate over 6 billion naira cars for members. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll discuss this issue of the suit against the Senate for the 5.5 billion naira budgeted to acquire vehicles. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So according to reports, over 6,721 concerned Nigerians, as well as the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, Budget and Enough is Enough, have sued the National Assembly to stop it from spending 5.5 billion naira to buy luxury cars for principal officials. Now, what is the economic value and contribution of the vehicles sought to be purchased to the grand scheme of Nigeria's economy? That's what Nigerians are asking. You can call us on 070-8066-8014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. All right, so this suit was filed, I think, over the weekend in the QE, last week actually. And people are saying there are different versions. Of course, the average Nigerian feels that why are they spending so much money? But another angle is saying that we have quite a number of senators and they need to have vehicles. So what's the issue? What do you think is the issue in this acquisition? With this acquisition, go ahead.
I would say that that amount of money, 5.5 something billion, was passed in the budget. We were here when that budget was passed. It was approved, and now the budget is law. And so going to sue for something that's already law, the judiciary will only interpret the law. The judiciary cannot make the law. So the problem is not that the money was passed. The problem is not that the lawmakers would have to, that they're spending so much to buy cars for the lawmakers. The real problem we have is that our system of government is too luxurious for us. So let's just cut these legislators a slack for some minutes. We have the executives. The people who state out this money are the executives. If we harass the legislators like that all the time for this, what about the executives?
The executive arm of the government makes their own budget, certainly.
Yes.
But legislator adds their own, and of course, this is obviously part of their own addition to the budget. Yeah. But looking at it unemotionally right now, the fact that whether you like it or not, they need vehicles in Abuja. They don't live in Abuja. They're only there for the legislative duties.
What about the inter-assembly vehicles?
Why do people have a problem with the fact that them getting vehicles in Abuja?
It just seems very insensitive.
Wow.
Okay.
We cannot be talking about meeting back and forth for minimum wage, and then we're saying that 5-point-something billion naira has been earmarked for cars alone, only cars. We're talking about 17 billion for, I mean, it just seems like we have our priorities skewed. We're talking about 17 billion for something that somebody has said will cost a few thousands of naira. What are we thinking? I mean, I understand it's not illegal. See, I understand it's not illegal. It's in the Constitution. I mean, it's their rights. But would it not be something of honor to this particular assembly if they came up and said, well, we have looked at the problems that we're going through, and we have decided that we have these cars already, or there are some cars, or we will not buy these very expensive ones. We need to do something so that we understand that Nigerian people feel...
That senator, I can't remember his name, the one that slapped the lady in the
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
He's a new senator.
Yes, Abo.
Now, are you saying that someone like that who gets to Abuja, no, there's no car for him? He doesn't, there's a possibility he doesn't have a vehicle where he's coming from.
I don't know.
So I would say, I'm just looking at the other side.
Okay,
I would say that someone like that now should get to Abuja and be using public transport to get to work.
Do you know how much the car is? Do you know how much the
is?
car is? Listen, and there are many types of cars. It's 50 million naira per car. 50 million naira.
How much do you buy a car?
Besides, more, there's nothing wrong for a senator or a senator now, because he will come for me, for a senator to use public transport. When we see the pictures of parliament members,
you've started.
Wait, hold on,
you choose when to start copying UK, and you choose not to.
We clap.
Yes.
But see, parliament business, like I've said, democracy business is one of the simplest. It's not one of those corporate, like when we discussed the issue of a nursing mother, those are not the kind of places where people should be barred or restricted. It's for everybody. It's a representative type of government. That's besides the point.
So if you have a car, come with your car. If you have a bicycle, come with your bicycle. And come
whether or not this has been put in the budget remains a proposal until it is executed. What Serap and Co. they're trying to do is to stop it from being executed.
Yeah.
Now, whoever passed that amount of money is not in touch with the economic realities of our people. They are not.
Okay, so the question is, what would you suggest we should do?
Morayo, last house, they budgeted 4.4 for this same purpose. They bought the cars. The people too did not bring car to Abuja. They don't live in Abuja. They bought car for them. They drove it out of Abuja.
They should have left it.
Yes, so it should be public property.
Yeah.
If they have left it, we will not be doing the same, recycling the same problem. We have a problem. We took on the newspaper front of the pages today, 11 trillion have been expended for debt servicing so far. We've been using that amount of money that's been budgeted for 10 years, servicing debt. And what we do majorly with the loans that we take is that we use over a quarter or even half of it to pay salaries. To pay for this kind of life that we cannot afford.
Let's go back to this issue.
These people are not in tune.
Let's be objective.
With us.
Yes. I get the part of, listen, it's expensive. I would even prefer that they get maybe innocent vehicles because that's a Nigerian brand. It makes better sense.
With an arrangement.
But the point is that, why are we making it difficult? Because we have about 54 new senators.
Yes.
How do you expect them to get around in Abuja?
Excuse me, didn't they have cars before? Were they not walking before?
So if you were elected a senator from Lagos, would you leave your vehicle, take your vehicle all the way to Abuja to go and do the work of the government?
Of course.
Oh,
if I am there to serve, that is what is expected of me.
Let me answer Morel. These senators,
we have issues on ground.
Prior to being elected, they used vehicles for campaign. Whose money was that?
Ask me.
The vehicle they used to campaign.
The party provided the money.
No.
The party now provides vehicles for you.
The party should provide.
They would fund buses. They would use personal cars. They have cars.
We're assuming the senators already have money.
What this House of Assembly, what the National Assembly hold our lawmakers is to make sure that they have maintenance for the cars that they have. Okay. They come in, we don't have that funds. We can do that. We can say, okay, fuel, a particular filling station is within the National Assembly where they take weekly amount of fuel that they need, maintenance for their cars and all that. But we can't keep buying cars per budget. Okay. It's not going to make
I just want to answer
get us anywhere.
Mariah is saying we're assuming that they have money. So let's just assume they don't have money and they come. So is it our job now to just
feed them,
just patronize
them with money from nowhere?
Do you
understand?
One vehicle.
No, it's a 50 million naira vehicle. That's the problem. I mean, we have, every day we talk about all those cars piled to the high heavens at the ports. Remember the last governor of Lagos State, we were talking about how many buses at the port just hanging there. That's the thing. We're just wasting resources. We don't have money to take care of important issues, and then we still have money somehow to waste on resources. If this was your home, let's say, and the senator was the father of the home, and we did not have money to pay hospital bill, we could not pay rent, we could not pay, but then every year he must get his 50 million naira car. What sort of human being would that person be?
Okay, so let's not be very emotional, like Mariah said initially. And I want to direct this question to Nima. Do you think now that this case gets to court and the court will use morals, because we are hinging on morals, what is expected, what is the right thing to do based on the circumstances we find ourselves as Nigerians? Or do you think that following logic, that they have a case? Sarah has a case. You think so?
They do. For every right that you think has been breached, the court is your remedy. So you go to court to get that. One thing that I know they will get is, first of all, injunction, stalling this money from being expended. Okay. So that one first they will get.
All right.
Then the court will look into, because I said earlier, the budget is a proposal to see whether there are laws or whatever laws allow the court to stop this, which I hope we have plenty of. It will be stopped. But first of all, they will get an injunction.
So if a senator or a House of Reps wants to go for all their oversight functions, inspect projects, all the stuff like that. How do you expect them to get around?
How much
because
healers?
the truth is that if they expend money on planes and all that, we'll still be the ones to complain that there's too much money. So the vehicles are work tools. It's not their luxury. No, be objective now.
Okay.
These cars are their work tools.
Okay.
That's what they're going to use to do exactly what you've elected them to do.
Mariah, the problem we have in the country is the fact that our lawmakers do not feel what we feel. And so when they sit on that table, they are not, the thing is not pinching them.
I agree with you.
Excuse me. Because if they take buses and they stay in traffic and they pass the potholes, they will understand when that road needs to be done because they are taking that route. No, but when you stay, oh God, I have a brand new car. I know how I feel when I'm inside. When I was on my bang, 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 I knew how it was touching me when I was driving. So you don't have a 50 million car in your comfort zone and then you feel the pain of the common man. Okay. They should take the buses.
Okay, let me take this call from Taiwo. Taiwo, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, this is Taiwo speaking. I'm a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hello.
You're live. Go ahead, Taiwo.
Okay, yeah. If I may contribute to this discussion this morning regarding government officials buying vehicles. I understand that there is a need that these government officials need vehicles that will take them from point A to point B. So when we understand this need, this is not a want. This is not about the particular type of car they need. So I'm a procurement officer. My job is to identify a need. So there's a need for them to get from point A to point B.
Exactly.
There's several ways you can go about it.
Okay, good.
You could either, if the ministry knows that they can sustain the procurement process in buying a vehicle and supporting that vehicle through life, like you have a vehicle today, you obviously know that you need to maintain that vehicle. The vehicle lifespan could be 10 years. So you need to amortize money to maintain that vehicle. So if the ministry know that they can buy it and maintain it through life, maybe for 10 years, they can set aside money for that. And they're going to maintain it for 10 years. However, if they can't do that, you could contract with a supplier that could supply
an arrangement.
Thank you very much. Do an arrangement. But you see, I want to be sure we agree on this table. Yeah. We agree that they do need to get around.
Yes.
Now, so we are just saying there are better ways of getting around. It's not a 50 million naira vehicle. So you can get actually a more affordable vehicle, and also ensure that you give them maintenance and fuel. Let me come to Nima first. I'll come to you.
Each senator, according to Senator Shehu Sani, back in the past, he had told us each senator takes a monthly 13.5 million naira home as running costs, aside their 700,000 basic salary monthly. So if 700,000 basic salary cannot do anything for you, 13.5 million cannot do anything at all for you. That's it, cannot fuel your car, it cannot buy you a car, it cannot, it cannot do anything at all for you. Why? What will do it? So just imagine an average Nigerian whose 30,000 naira salary cannot do anything at all for, and we're having a debate about it. Okay. And then you are insisting that it has to be a bulletproof car. It has to be a car that can accommodate.
They didn't say that.
No, what's the cost of a 50 million naira car?
How much is an SUV today? Have you got to price an SUV?
Which SUV?
What do they need
brown new. Let me speak Nigerian English. Brown new.
Please. A brown new SUV is about 75 million. Do you know that?
No.
Depending on the grade, though.
There are SUVs of 10 million.
No, from 20 upwards.
There are SUVs.
Brand new.
We're discussing.
Let me come to Mariam.
See, even they know that this sounds a bit whatever.
Extravagant.
Yes, extravagant, because they were actually trying to explain themselves that, well, some of these cars are actually meant for the chairman and the vice chairman of committees. So they understand that, okay, we can see how expensive it is, so we have kept it for special people. But do you know what the problem is now? The cocoa of the matter. The committees that they have set up, do you know how many there are? 69. So how many chairman and how many vice chairman are you going to have? So every senator is going to somehow be a chairman.
I don't even think it's a problem.
When we come back, we continue the conversation. We'll open our phone lines for this comment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we'd still like to hear your thoughts on this issue of the senators trying to acquire 5.5 billion naira worth of vehicles. I think we have a caller on the line. Morning, are you there?
Yes. Well, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. ISO.
I hope you are not standing for Senate. The Senate, those people, the funny matter of this issue, we borrow to sustain these people.
That's the
It's
worst
when
part.
the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? Nigeria foundation is faulty, and they will not like to solve that problem. They should change the constitution. That one, they are sleeping there. They go there, they snore, they sleep. They are not doing anything to solve the problem of Nigeria. No job. People are suffering. Common 30,000 minimum wage. No, they cannot pay state. People are suffering. They are just gathering their old governors. People that have come out from governor, they will go there and sit down there. Are they telling me they don't have money to buy vehicle? They are there to service Nigeria. We can't be borrowing and be paying for their expenses.
For their lifestyle.
Thank you very much, ISO. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Let's take a few tweets.
Okay.
White Lion says they should meet innocent for a special car loan, financing where at the end of their tenure, they return the cars back to innocent so he can resell them. That way we will not put 50 million naira for car because they know cars are not fully theirs. Jameson says, what's wrong with luxury cars worth 5 to 7 million, not 50 million? That's a fraud. Abdul Fattah says, how will the common man who struggle every day and get paid less than those who thieves would just blab nonsense and get 30 million naira allowance?
Ogumide says, it is quite appalling that such an exorbitant amount will be budgeted for vehicles. What about the previous vehicles the 9th Senate used? Why are these lawmakers oppressing us rather than creating an atmosphere where the common man can enjoy democracy?
Precious Joe says, our democracy is the most expensive in the world. No wonder our politicians are ready to even kill in order to get to the office. Most of them are there to serve their own interests, not to serve people that voted
Let me
for
take this
them.
call from Vincent. Vincent, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
All right.
You're live. Go ahead.
Oh,
You're live. Go ahead, please. Okay. I think we actually said something very critical in the beginning, which I think is so important, that why did we put this in the budget in the first place? It's like we're medicine after death. So yes, we're all here when the budget was passed,
Yes.
when we were still reviewing the budget. How come nobody picked this up?
Till now. But I would suggest that if they really want to help us, if they really want to serve like they are there to do, they should have staff buses. Good,
If I can buy a
air-conditioned-
bulletproof one.
Yes, staff buses.
For each
So you
officer,
have your
they are
personal
safe.
car, that's your personal thing. You drive to your office,
When you are
you
not
get
working.
into the staff bus and go do whatever you want to do and come back. That is what we should be looking into. Ministers outside the country, they take buses, they take trains. We see them and we applaud them. And yet our own cannot come down, bring themselves from that their high place to use staff
Let me
buses.
take this call from Kwara State. Morning, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My name is Shaiken from Kwara State.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, talking about these senators, we need to be frank with ourselves. Those guys are just exploiting us. I'm telling you. You want to tell me that a government that has served for 8 years, coming to say it doesn't have money to buy cars? Come on, it's not done. It's not done. See, they can't pay tax.
The senator that stopped it, what's his name again? Abo. Senator Abo. He's kind of fresh. He doesn't have any money.
This is supposed to come and make money.
Sorry. What did you say?
Seriously, these guys, there should be a national protest for these guys. I'm telling you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very
So
much.
I was saying that for us, another 4 years has come by, and another ranting, and then we rant. They wait us out. We get angry. They know, they understand it. They're like, let's just wait them out. They'll get angry, they'll scream, and then they'll forget about it, and then we can now buy our cars.
Which is very
so really, I
important.
think I love what Serap is doing. I hope it just doesn't die down. Please put my name on the list as well, of those who are making this file.
So I have something to say to these senators and lawmakers that we have. You people are our representative. I could have gone to the National Assembly to go and say my own bit on behalf of Amu Odofin. But then we had to elect somebody to speak for us, which is Yayi. I would love that you have a good conscience, know exactly what I'm feeling in my corner, because even when I had an accident in the car, I waited 1 year to save money to buy another one. I did not just wake up and go person use taxpayer commonwealth to buy that car. It's only just and fair that these people have a good conscience and understand exactly, and you know, do something that their conscience will sit well. Or you don't have conscience.
So if you want to focus on conscience, so are we saying that, okay, Mr. Senator, when they bring the car, reject it, or say you don't even want the car? Is that what you're asking? You want to use conscience?
Don't bring car.
We don't want car.
See, when they all campaign, and I like when they campaign, we have one common sense senator who would tell us the right thing on paper and on his Twitter page. But then when he goes there, it's like there's no debate. Let us see somebody within the house stand against this kind of frivolous life.
We don't need this right now.
Frivolous life. And say no.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on that. Seraps just filed the case last week, so hopefully we'll see how that goes. And hopefully if they have a case, we can stop this amount from being expended. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss the next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So Lagos was ranked the world's most dangerous city to live in by the Economist Intelligence Unit in its newly released report. According to reports, this is the first time Lagos will be featured on the list, and it took the 56th spot on digital security ranking and also the 58th spot on the infrastructure security ranking. Now, this is something to worry about, but you can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. When you saw this report, what came to mind?
Immediately, I agreed, because for me, what came to mind was health. And I'm talking of the fumes from our generators, from our cars, from the more cars that we're going to be giving our senators, you know, all those fumes. I worry about that constantly, really, especially in Lagos State, because of the way it is, you know, built. You know, you have houses very close to each other, and you have their exhaust or whatever from their gens right into your houses. Then I've also thought about the what do you call when you sand fill the water area? So we have a lot of that in Lagos, and we've been hearing reports that, you know, we should look at that. Lagos should be careful because of reclaiming land. That we should be careful because in a few years that water is going to overrun. So those are the things. Yes, when it comes to our personal security, I do feel that Lagos may have a problem.
I think also that, I know I had mentioned sometime that I went to an event at I think in the US consulate, where somebody was talking about the fact that the population was an issue. And urban management will obviously become a problem when the population increases. And that's why this kind of rankings come important, because of the issue of digital security and infrastructural security. But let me come to your thoughts on it, Obiachulu.
Okay, so I also, when I read about it, I just, my mind went to the security that we have. And one of the criteria used is the fact that we're not able to give proper security to residents, people, visitors, and businesses. And I know that we have a major problem in that area. But the but for me there is, UK people should leave us alone now. They want to collect 9 billion naira. That one is not enough for them. This is the first time they are ranking us. Where were we before they started ranking us? They are giving us 56th position. They should leave us alone. We know the problems we have.
56 positions.
That's what they give. Who gave us that?
No.
By whose criteria? Is there criteria? Don't collect name. Don't allow somebody else give you another name.
Don't collect the name that's not your own.
Don't collect it. They gave us.
Are we saying?
We
are disagreeing with them. We don't agree
with
what are the indices?
Disagree first.
Okay,
So that you understand.
What are the indices they are using?
This is our own Lagos.
Yes.
How many years old is this city compared to the cities that they were comparing us with? That's one. Yeah. Number two, they're not within. They're not accepting what the government is doing. They ranked us on urban development and housing. In Lagos, for instance, if, assuming there was no stall in the rent-to-own and the whatever housing program that they planned, that the government in the past had planned, we're already doing something to tackle that.
Yes.
We're also tackling security in Lagos. This is not the Lagos of 10, 15 years ago.
Digital security, which is the online fraud. That's pretty much the idea.
No, digital security might not be online fraud.
It's usually
it might be
around
reporting crimes and all that. Lagos is already doing that as well.
Yes.
See, they will not.
We have cameras on the roads.
They want to kill your child. They will call it a bad thing.
Thank
you. You love your child. Monkey no picking no fire. You like like that.
Thank you.
See,
I would like to commend the ladies
because
for being.
Tokyo.
May I commend
patriotic?
you guys for being patriotic? But can we just tell each other the truth? We've done that, so kudos. That's a good point. Let's put that aside. Let's tell ourselves the truth.
Which truth again?
We know what we're going through. Okay. Yes, we may not like someone else to come from outside and rank us.
Yeah.
But are we going through these issues? Do we have problems with our security?
Yes.
Do we have problems with the management of?
Let me quickly make. Sorry to cut you again. Let me just quickly make the comparison, because if they want to talk, they will talk crime response. Maybe we did not have number before. They had something, 3 digits. We have it. And when you call it, they respond. I have called it over and over. They've responded to me on waste. They've responded to me on security. They've responded to me on crime. And we now have wait now, sexual offenders record that is working. We don't want to accept it, but this
let's
Lagos,
not patronize the
hold on,
government.
I don't patronizing.
I get the point, but let's not over-patronize.
Maybe because, wait, hold on a minute. Maybe because you guys sit here and we host a show. I visit these agencies. I can tell you for free.
Inspector General.
No, I can tell you what works.
Okay, let me.
Just last week, a case of a 4-year-old sexual abuse was reported to me outside Lagos. And I knew what to do.
That's not what
they're talking.
What they're talking on this
digital security.
About the business intelligence unit.
Yes.
They're talking about infrastructural security, which is totally different from what you're talking about.
We don't have
They're different parts.
We're not going to Tokyo.
I understand you. Nima sits here. In fact, even today, she's talked about the levels of government, you know, not doing what
she complains about her area every day.
All the time.
I get reactions.
I mean, all the time.
I'm suspecting you. I'm suspecting you.
No. See, this is what we're going to do.
Just let me see this one.
When you're called out in public, I understand how you can stand up and say you and defend yourself. But when you come home, you need to tell each other the truth.
Of course.
Lagos better than most other cities in Nigeria?
Of course.
Definitely. It's doing much better. It has some things on ground. But if you're comparing it with the other cities that they have compared it with, it deserves the position that it deserves.
No, you can't finish, Nima.
I did the same.
Nima, I need to
they're not the same age. You can't compare Lagos to London. How old is Lagos compared to London?
Yes. Nima is right on that.
She's not right on that. We're not talking about age. What's she saying? No. It's not part of it, please. Cities have come and have passed other cities.
Name some.
Are we talking of Dubai? What we use Dubai? Yes, but we use that as an example all the time. And then today you want to call age? Are we not privy to the same resources and the same opportunities that are out there now?
I would have to cancel. I think I'm going to just round up on this thing, because obviously I didn't think I was going to get this aggravated. The point, the objective of discussing it is to let Nigerians know this is what this British intelligence unit is saying. Yes. We don't always have to accept everything that is bring out to us internationally. Yeah. However, it's always good to also be realistic and looking. On that note, we'll round this up.
You don't want me to say anything again.
Let's go to break. When we come back, with this way you want to start throwing punches. When we come back, let me take this call. Adeoye, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Morayo.
Thanks for calling. Thank you for calling. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Today? You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Now, Morayo, I'm a silent. I'm actually a first-time caller.
Welcome to the show.
But I'm a silent admirer of you ladies. Number one, the issue on senator buying vehicles. Morayo, I hope I've never had Mr. Brown in one of the senators' names. So I know Mr. Brown is not a senator. So I wonder why you have decided to take sides.
My job is to moderate the conversation, so I have to go to the other side also. We have to look at both sides, but go ahead.
Because we all know the situation of this country.
Certainly.
We all know. It is pathetic. I am a grandmother. Anytime I listen to...
Oh, please tell me you're still there. Oh, Sugar, I so apologize.
May I finally say?
Please, you can say it calmly.
Yes, calmly. I'm
Go
not
ahead.
quarreling. That I agree with what they have stated. I think Lagos needs to look into, because there are a lot of places you go to, you don't see a disaster plan in case something happens. We don't have that. We need to look critically at what they have said that we can do to improve ourselves, look into it. But outside, though, reject that name. It's not our name.
Let me let you. 2 seconds, though.
Me, I don't have any other country that I've visited or I'm going to or that I'm trying to go to. So I can only be optimistic and believe that this country is going to get there. The comparison of constitution, cities, and everything do not make it. Let us focus on what we're doing and let the people doing their ranking mind their business. This is Lagos. We're doing what we should be doing already. We're on track.
On that note, we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll discuss this issue of name change of the Nigerian prisons, now going to be called Nigerian Correctional Services. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So recently, President Muhammad Buhari signed the Nigerian Correctional Service Bill into law. According to the report, the Nigerian Prisons Service will now be called the Nigerian Correctional Service, which comprises of custodial and non-custodial services. Joining us on the show is the Executive Director of Prisoner Rights Advocacy, Ahmed Adetola Kazeem. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
We also actually invited somebody from the prison service, but for whatever reason, I think he couldn't make it. Though he gave us a reason that he couldn't make it. But you can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC. Can I please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Okay, so this issue of
the name change,
was it necessary? Do you think?
Yes, very necessary.
Why would you say that?
You know, there is a psychology with name. What we know prison has is a chain, more of punitive, more of punishment. But with the name change, there is a psychology that goes with it, correction. So when somebody goes there, what we hope for is that the person is rehabilitated and reformed.
Is it enough, is that psychology enough to make sure that the change, the name that you have given will bring about the needed change?
That is another thing entirely. I've only answered the question she posed. It is not enough. And what has been done is beyond a name change. A lot of things had gone into that particular act. For instance, we must first commend those who ensured this came to fruition. We must commend the 4 senators that brought up different bills. We must also commend Senator Remi Tinubu, Shabala Fiaji, Senator Bassi, and one other senator I can't remember at the moment. Omowari, I think of Odo or something. So we must commend them, and also the NGOs, particularly Prawa, Dr. Oju Agomo, that ensured that this came to life. Because this has been on since 2001. Different committees to review other committees' work. It has just been rhetorics, moving back and forth.
The critics of this name have said that, listen, we have no objections to the name, but there's so much more to be done in the prisons. That naming is the last thing you do. That the real reforms that are required in the prisons are not being done. So do you think just the psychological change, which is what
what they do not understand is that if you do not have if you do not have if you don't set an agenda, if you don't have the laws to back the change up, then it is just plastic. What this law has done is that to ensure, even though some of the things are more or less like a mirage at the moment, when you say that prisons should reject inmates when it is full. You understand? How do you ensure that happens now? Where do you take them to, particularly when they have been alleged to have committed very serious offenses?
I would say that, for me, it's not a name change, because a correctional facility is in form of a prison, a jail, or other incarceration. So it's the same thing. It's just that you now decided to take away the prison, probably because of the psyche of the people going in there. But I would have, wanted them to pay more attention to what happens in the prison, because we have people who go in there and they are lumped up together, the big crime, the maximum crime, the minimum crime, the medium crime, and then those ones who go in as medium or small crime come out and become maximum offenders.
You are very correct. You are very correct, because the classification has been skewed. A few years ago, I think in 2012, 2013, I took up a case for some underage guys who were put in prison, and some of them were in maximum prison. Boys of 15, 14 years. And they were engaging in a lot of crimes in prison. They were packed from Oshodi and dumped in maximum prison. Oh, God. So the classification, there's a problem with the classification.
Yes.
Though most people in the maximum prison are people who have committed or are alleged to have committed very big offenses. But unfortunately, you have some very small offenders in those.
Adetola, we have juvenile prison. At least there's one at Oregon here. Why would they profile underage and then...
The one in Oregon is not a prison, so to speak. It was established by the Lagos State, not by the federal government. Presently, we have just 3 Bostad homes in the whole of the country for juvenile offenders. You have in Kaduna, in Ilorin, and in Abeokuta. Yes. None in the East.
Sorry, what are Bostad homes?
Bostad homes are prisons or correctional centers for young offenders. Okay. So you just have 3 Bostad homes all over the country. What this law has now established is that there must be at least 1 Bostad homes in every state. Okay. So one thing is the provision, another thing is the implementation.
Yeah. Okay, so we're just hearing the name, but there's so much more to this bill. Issue of custodial and non-custodial. What is that about? Could you tell Nigerians the difference?
Yes, custodial sentence is what the normal prison we know, the normal incarceration we know. Now, non-custodial is an alternative to custodial sentence. We should ensure, hopefully, we ensure that we don't have the prisons crowded. What it means is that we have parole. So what parole means is somebody is sentenced, maybe 2 years imprisonment, okay, spend 6 months in prison. The remaining 1.5 years, you spend it at home. So far, you do not commit another offense. If you commit another offense, we'll revisit the past offense and add the new one. That is what parole is. So you can spend your time at home. You have the probation. That's it. We have sentenced this to 2 years, but you won't go to prison. Just go home and sin no more.
So non-custodial for me is one of the problems I saw with this bill, knowing that we do not have any biodata base as it is now.
So they run away.
Don't you think that the bill should have, allowed certain prerequisites be established first before we start to write these things on paper?
We can because it's a difficult thing. You don't wait till a perfect moment, because the perfect moment might never come. The truth is that there are initiatives already on ground. We just need to fast track those initiatives. We can't say because we do not have this in place, then the law should not be there to guide the process. Because we won't even see the urgency in having these things in place, for instance. I know now probably we would start revisiting, bringing out the prisons from the exclusive list. The prison now is just the prerogative of the federal government. Yes. And you find that these offenses are state offenses. Yes. The state keep having more laws, creating offenses for them and dumping people in prison. So I think the state is the major culprit in the whole of this. So if you have them now having to take charge of their prisoners...
So these senators, isn't that what they be fighting for? To get it off the exclusive list. They're worrying about their cars now. But we need them to get off that list.
Definitely. But you know the political space. The states will not want this. So it's going to be a tough battle.
Like cost, right?
You understand? So I think we individuals, the NGOs, we want to keep talking about this. So because when they remove it off the list, then the state will be serious. Because when you go to task force now, every day, 300 and something people, they enter the prison, 350. At the end of the day, a few years ago, there was the congestion of prison, I think in 2009. And about 8,000 persons were brought out of the prison. As at then, maybe the total population was at 50,000. Now we have 70,000. Wow. So nothing is improving. Things just keep deteriorating.
Okay, so let's talk about collaborative work with the courts and the prison workers. every time a judge says remand in custody, they take, of course, to the prisons. How conversant are the judges with the population of the prisons that they keep remanding certain crimes, simple crimes that, you know...
They don't care. What the judges will say is that, where do I keep them?
You should go home.
Go home.
My problem is that some of the non-custodial
measures,
yes, that have been put in place, I've heard them, I mean, people in the prison officials say they already do that. So they already provide them some form of education. They already provide them some sort of empowerment.
No, that is not non-custodial.
That's those in custody.
That's reforms, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so those are reforms. So, okay, let me read this. It says implementing, non-custodial. Custody, take control of person legally intended and safe, conveying remand person. Okay, so the custodial is what I'm talking about, where they're empowering inmates.
How many of them are they empowering?
No, so I'm just saying that these are things they say they already do. That they already, I mean, we visited prison one time before, and we'll see some of them are making hats, some of them are making bread, some of them are carpenters, some of them are getting degrees. So it's already done under the prisons. What exactly will be done differently? Because my fear is that sometimes when these reforms are being made, it's much, you know, people will say that it's more about a money-making venture. Some people are going to sit down somewhere so that they can get money to do the same thing that's already been done before.
No. The truth is that what is being done is just they're just scratching the surface. And most of the things you find in prison, the education, the empowerment, are done by NGO. Churches, mosques.
Yes.
That is what we find now. Yes. The prison has not really started. When you find a prison that houses about 3,000 persons, and those who are engaged in some of these things are no more than 300. So you are talking of less than 10%. So you are not even getting there. A prison where you have 70% awaiting trial persons. And awaiting trial is just there. He doesn't see himself as, you know, he's not
Let's go back to this issue of non-custodial, because I know abroad they have when you're on parole, they have these monitoring gadgets where they know where you are at all points.
Like trackers.
Are we thinking of engaging technology at some point to help reform this non-custodial segment of the...
It's one thing I've suggested in recent interviews that I've had in the papers and even on TV, is that we need to put these things in place for this law to work. We can't just say we'll put people on parole. It will never work if you don't have the technology. If you don't have the data, it will never work. You understand? And at the end of the day, we'll be frustrated. So these are things that we need to do. I know that the government have said they are spending about 2 billion naira on integrated data, and I hope these monies are properly spent so that we don't just keep moving back and forth and we just have the laws and they become toothless bulldogs.
Yeah, so I want to go to the revenue, because they always complain.
Let me pause you for a second. Let me take Jide and I'll come back to you. Jide, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
I would like to take us back a little bit as well for that. I just did a calculation and I discovered that 30,000 minimum wage, it takes a worker 3 years to make 1 million. Check your calculator and give me how much it's going to, how many years it's going to cost them to make 50 million naira. So you see what we are saying. These people are not there to help us. They are just filling their pockets with the hard-earned money of Nigeria. That is all I want to make.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm very, very sorry for that. That's my contribution anyway.
Okay, so they always complain that they don't have enough funds to run the prisons. And I hear bail of 100 million, bail of 50 million. And, you know, so I wonder where that money goes into. And is there any plan to curb the corruption in the prisons? Because if we hear so much of this bail money is flying around, and then they complain that they don't have enough money to take care of the inmates.
First, probably let me explain what bail means. When you hear 100 million, it doesn't mean that the bail money is paid. Except in very, very few occasions. So the bail is just, if the person runs away, whoever stands shorty will forfeit that sum. So it is actually not paid. So what we can talk about is fines. Yes. What we can talk about is fines. But unfortunately, for instance, when you look at Lagos State, when people go to, it's actually in the, what's it called, the special offences court, these mobile courts. That is where people actually pay bail sum. For 10,000, they pay. They will collect from you before you go anywhere. That goes into the coffers of the state government. But they dump this inmate for the federal government. Does that make sense?
That's the problem.
So the state made a lot of money They make a lot of money and they keep dumping people in prison without...
What's the budget? Do you know for the prisons? Do you have an idea what our budget is?
I don't have an idea, but I know it's
because obviously nobody's talking about the prisons.
So this new bill, would it solve this problem of dumping people in the wrong prisons then?
A paper solves no problem if there's no implementation. As far as I'm concerned, it's still more or less like a paper until it's the will of the government.
So let's talk about, certain measures that, already are in our laws that to decongest the prison. So there's the pardon that, usually go. And there's also signing death sentences by governors. How often do we see this? So that if we have people serving their term after they've exhausted their appeals and, that moves on, rather than keeping them and feeding them, how exactly does government do their part to get...
No, I think the law now provides that if an inmate a convict on death row has exhausted his appeals and has stayed in prison for 10 years, the chief judge has the power to remit such sentences to life imprisonment. You understand, from death row. Okay. You understand? But if you talk about killing those on death row, how many people are on death row in Nigeria?
I have
I'm not sure they're up to
one. They're not hangmans anymore.
No, they're hangmen.
Nobody is taking the one.
They are there. There are people on that duty post in the prison. You can be rest assured. If they want to kill somebody today, they don't be looking for hangmen around.
Okay,
they get somebody to do that job.
Okay, let me take this call from Adebayo. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning, Morayo, and your guest. Yeah, it's a good thing to reform the Nigerian prison system. But one thing we need to look at is not the policy. We have beautiful policies in Nigeria. It's at the point of implementation that problems usually come. For instance, you're talking about correctional institutions. What about the target system? For instance, if somebody is sentenced 2 years, and you said, okay, these 2 years, you're not going to spend it in prison. You now ask that person to go on the tagging system. It's called electronic tagging. That person wears something like a bangle in his head, in his leg. And he has a control in his house. And he must not go out before 6 o'clock in the morning. He must be in his house before 6 in the evening. What effort does the federal government have to monitor this tagging system? The tagging system and the whole probation system is a massive job creation avenue. If we don't do it effectively, it will not create jobs and it will cause further troubles for the prison system.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Point taken, Adebayo.
Yeah. So I know that we say that we want to reform. And the problem I have with even implementation, when they want to implement and when they start implementing, is they don't implement it in the right way. Are there plans to get, because one of the things they identified is to be able to find why these inmates have antisocial behaviors, what made them to commit those crimes. Are there plans to have psychologists, professionals, who will work in the prisons to help these people change these habits and find out why they did what they did?
They're actually psychologists in the prison, but everything is just upside down. For almost every prison, I know the psychologist for female prison, I know the one for Ikoyi prison, I know the one for maximum prison. So almost all the prisons, if not all prisons, have psychologists. But how updated are these psychologists?
Are they professionals?
I knew that there was a program I did, and I invited one of the psychologists to talk. He was talking about business.
Egbe.
You understand? He wasn't talking about the behavioral change. He wasn't talking about so you find out that all these things are obsolete. They are just there for the name. Probably got to prison through somebody who,
to the issue of taking this off the exclusive list. I don't want us to put the cart before the horse, because the truth is that these states that cannot pay their salaries, you want them to come and start funding a prison, they can't do that. So
they get the fines.
They get, well, was that enough to maintain the prison?
If you have the...
So you're saying that we can put a proper structure in place?
If you have the mind to create more laws, to get more people into the prison, you must have also the strength to also cater for them.
So it's a no-brainer, you're saying, that they can actually have this back to the concurrent list and then be able to run it effectively by the fines. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, fines and other subventions and other stuff.
Because I saw one of your article, I think, on the fines and the corruption that goes behind the mobile courts and all that, and how much money they make. Do you think it's lucrative enough? I think
it is very lucrative. I heard that our former governor, I'm sorry, in Lagos State, when this issue arose, because I took up a case for some guys who were arrested in a Tire area, and there was one imam whose video went viral, and the people and I had to intervene. So we had to look for a solution to get this. They were scared that we would probably come back and sue them. And somebody said that some of the members of the house actually approached the governor. And the governor said, this is one of the biggest money-making ventures for the state government. So there is nothing they can do about it.
Wow.
So if you know how many people in a day, about 200 and something, were arrested. And at least for you to get off, you have to pay at least 10,000. At least that goes into the government coffers. We are not adding the extra one that goes to the tips here from the police, from the court staff, and the like. So a lot of money go into this. More than, and there was at some point the immediate past controller of Lagos State, a very fantastic man. He's now an ACG. And when people come to the prison to celebrate birthday, he started telling them that instead of just giving these people food, free people. And you find that one person will pay more than 2 million to get people out of prison. Paying fines of 30,000, 50,000, you get 200 people. A lot of money was made in the past administration.
Wow.
A lot of money was made. A lot of money was made from that venture.
Oh,
that venture.
Tweets, please.
While they are searching for tweets. So I know that we have a problem of a lot of people in the prisons are waiting trial. So is there, in this correctional facility, is there any plan of, aiding to speed up those are waiting trial?
The problem is that, in fact, it's one of the major focus of the law, is this problem of awaiting trial persons. But unfortunately, the law alone cannot do it. So we need the police. If you don't reform the police, you can't solve the problem of awaiting trial persons. If we do not reform our judiciary, you can't stop the problem of so the law alone cannot solve the problem of awaiting trial persons. It has to be a tripartite or even more. So we have to reform the police, ensure that the police don't just arrest people and dump them. You have to ensure that there's speedy trial in court, and the court also follow through the law, because there are provisions in the law that the court people should not be remanded for more than 2 months. You understand? Yes. Once they're remanded, there is this remand proceeding. You bring them back, and if the government, the prosecution do not show cause, they should be released. But most people do not follow this, because the judge
left there for years.
You understand? For years. I've done cases of someone who was in prison for 14 years, 13 years, 12 years, awaiting trial.
There's this tweet. Fela Omisakin says, we all know that it is not necessarily the name that is given, but the function assigned and how efficient the functions are carried out. What is the function of the Nigerian Prisons Service, and what is the function of the Nigerian Correctional Service? One
thing we also need to focus on is also the welfare of the warders. Some of them, even the inmates, live better than some of these warders. There are issues of promotion. Some of them were complaining that they have been in service 2009 and they have not had any promotion. Those who came after them have promotion. You understand? Also, what is their emolument? What is their take-home at the end of the day? If we do not reform the officers, we can never reform the inmates. So that is one thing the government must also look at. Instead of all this plastic stuff, all these laws, all this, you must focus on how do we ensure that these people live well too.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, there's this thing that bothers me really. Female inmates that have children in prison. Does this bill address this issue?
Yes.
How come they even having sex?
No. That is not the case.
They went in pregnant.
They went in pregnant.
Oh, they went in pregnant.
Yes, the law addresses that. Now, the law provides that there must be at least one female prison in each state. You only have maybe one purpose-built or 2 purpose-built all over the country, Lagos and one other state. So now, and the law provides that there must be special or antenatal and also a crèche for females. And kudos to Mrs. Remi Tinubu. She was actually the one who brought that part, of the law.
We have to run up, unfortunately.
He says there are around 2,000 death row inmates in Nigeria. They are hangmen. It's governors who are not signing death warrants.
Yes.
So should they sign it sharply?
That was what I was actually asking. Why are governors refusing to sign? And why are they refusing to grant pardon?
I think it's more of pressures from all these international NGOs, Amnesty and the likes on their necks. But I think recently the Edo State government have signed like 1 or 2.
And churches will not want you to execute anybody. So maybe there's pressure from those kind of organizations and mercy.
I'll just leave them in prison forever.
We have to run up, unfortunately. Go ahead.
Monitoring gadgets in Nigeria when common electoral card readers didn't work. It's a big joke.
Thank you very much for coming. It's a pleasure having you. That's all we can take on the show today. See you again tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.